Okay, I'm back again, and this time I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm going to talk about TV because one of the kind of things that I often get asked by people and on Facebook and stuff is what's the best movies to watch, best books, depending on what you're into, and TV. And so, what I thought this would be about is just give you a quick pulse of information about what is the best TV and what TV you might want to catch up on, because we've just had a couple of seasons all occur back to back. And also, there's something very strange happening. Right now, I'd say the three best interesting performances right now in TV are Kyle MacLachlan, Crispin Glover, and David Thewlis, who were all incredible actors maybe 20 years ago, and really you haven't heard of them for a little while. David Thewlis has just had Wonder Woman as well. So this is a very strange time. So look, I'll say spoilers are coming up, but really I don't intend to spoil anything. Even, I'm not going to really go through plots. I'm just going to give you some quick bits of information so that if you have to choose what your next TV show is, you're going to be able to do it with hopefully a bit of confidence, and I'm going to explain why. Okay, so the shows I want to talk about are American Gods, which just finished, Fargo Season 3, which has got maybe 2 episodes left, The Handmaid's Tale, which just finished, Twin Peaks, which we've got maybe 10, 12 episodes left. I think I just watched episode 6. And finally, House of Cards, which is back for season 5. Now, obviously, I could talk about one of those shows and it would take all my time. So I'm just going to really do a quick rundown of what is interesting and what isn't. So the number one show, I think that if you had to just choose to watch one show, would be Twin Peaks. Now, I guess there has to be a little bit of a bit of background in that if you haven't obviously watched season 1 and even the despicable season 2, maybe even the movie Fire Walk with Me, you might be a little bit lost. But look, it'd be well worth watching at least season 1 and then coming back to this. But it is doing some incredible things, and if you know anyone who watches it, the great thing about this Twin Peaks series is often there'll be an episode which I won't enjoy. Like episode 3 and 4 I thought were a bit just insane. But Lynch is doing something which is just enraptures the viewer. You have to watch, because at any point in the episode, someone could be doing the most boring thing possible. You are never sure whether a clue will be dropped or there'll be just a visual cue as to what is happening in the world of Twin Peaks. And I say that phrase on purpose because Twin Peaks originally was a place, and it was where Laura Palmer was murdered and everything came out of that story. Now Twin Peaks is a feeling, a way in which the world operates crazily. And that could be in New York. There's some shots in New York which I don't know what Lynch did to make New York look different, but still be New York, to look ominous. But it's also set in other parts of America, and you get this feeling that he has captured the dark underbelly of the country as a way, an oeuvre, its own milieu now. And it's really strange and well worth watching. There's numerous reasons to watch it, but Kyle MacLachlan, who plays numerous roles, is just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, the other, what I consider the really, probably the most demanding, most repulsive, most interesting TV was The Handmaid's Tale, obviously adapted by from the Margaret Atwood novel. And the first couple of episodes, which are all directed by one woman, Reed Morano, And she, I think they've said they used her for the first 3 episodes because she also established the look of the universe and the costumes and everything. Absolutely brilliant. They're maybe the most riveting TV I've seen in years. Part of it is because a post-Trump world, for once, you watch these dystopian kind of TV science fiction stories and you go, wow, you wouldn't really need too many dominoes to fall over. And, you know, people are believing the kinds of things and saying openly now the kinds of things which they do in this TV show. So it looks brilliant. Elizabeth Moss, well, you know, if she doesn't win the Emmy, I'm going to have to watch whatever show knocks her off because she has been great. Alexis Bledel has a role and she's fantastic because it's very different to how we saw her in the Gilmore Girls. I really think that this show probably made me the angriest I've been in a very long time, and full of anger. And doesn't matter who you are, when art does that to you, you know that it's doing something right. It really makes you question things. So I do think that it drops off though. I think it's very hard for it to maintain that because once it tells you the rules of this world, you then need story, and I think it's still searching for that, but, you know, outstanding. Okay, I want to now go on to 2 other shows which I found a bit mixed. So the first one is American Gods. Now, I love Brian Fuller. Hannibal, to me, was one of the greatest pieces of art. And what I mean by art is the cinematography and the way he painted the palette on Hannibal, whether it be murder or a dinner party, was just so beautiful. And how it got onto broadcast TV just is beyond me because it was really pushing the boundaries. So I'm all in, but American Gods to me does not work. I've read the book, I'm a big Neil Gaiman fan, and it just can't seem to find what it wants to say. And I do think that it is worth watching because I've now watched the whole series and it really wakes up around episode 8, 9, 10. And I think that it's almost one of those shows you've got to watch the first year because then it tells its story year 2. And I do think that it will be great at some point because it's got really interesting things to say about faith and technology in our society. But for now, I think it's still finding its feet. Now, the other show I wanted to talk about was Fargo, which is in season 3. And Fargo 1 is great TV. I was not interested at all. It scooped all the awards. I said, maybe I've got to check this out, and I was blown away. Then Fargo season 2, which really didn't get the love I thought it deserved, was so innovative. The way they directed it, because it was set in the 70s, or at least most of it, and the way they used 70s movie tropes to tell that story was just brilliant. Great acting, you know, really go back. It's well worth seeing Fargo 1, Fargo 2. Then we get to Fargo 3, and Fargo 3 is good. But the problem is the other 2 were amazing. And I think part of it is Ewan McGregor plays dual roles. From the beginning, he's playing 2 brothers, and it doesn't quite work. But the reason you have to watch Fargo season 3, even if you don't like that story, even if you don't like Fargo, you could watch it, fast forward every scene, and just stop when David Thewlis comes out and is mesmerizing as probably the most interesting evil person that I've seen on TV for eons. And the other most interesting person was probably Billy Bob Thornton in Fargo season 1. He is absolutely great. And you know that the role was just do this. And he has invented this type of character. He's just fascinating. Like watching a huge spider, you're scared of it, but you can't look away. It is probably worth it just for that. But it's unfortunate because it's an uneven show. but that's just the way it is sometimes. Sometimes there's a gem hidden within, an otherwise average show. And just to finish off, because I mentioned it before, House of Cards season 5. Well, I've watched House of Cards season 1 to 4, and the reason I've mentioned it is I am not watching season 5. Now, maybe I will, but I just could not bring myself to it. There's so much good TV, so many books, so many movies, so many computer games, that to then go into the world of what was, to begin with, almost a satire of how ridiculously Machiavellian American politics could be in a post-Trump world, I don't know if I've got it within me. It would really everyone would have to say that this is the greatest season ever. And really what I'm hearing from people is really well made, but Trump is already well beyond anything that they show in House of Cards. So it comes across as a bit of a slog. I'm not sure what I'm going to do in that world. So that's to finish off. What I'd like to say is next time I've got something, I'm doing a little bit of research. I'm going to be talking about books and how they're adapted into TV. So you can find me on Twitter at Guru Eden, and obviously subscribe to the channel, and I'll be here every couple of days and definitely every week. Okay, see ya.